Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. We are talking with a brand new guest to SBR Videos, professional horse handicapper Ed from winningponies.com, analyzing the 2015 Preakness Stakes. We just got finished hearing his thoughts on American Pharoah. Now we're going to discuss the rest of the field. Ed, thanks for being with us.
Thank you very much, Peter. We are really honored to be on with you, and especially be talking Preakness this time of the year. We are stoked and ready to make some money.
That's what we'd like to hear. Tell us a little bit about your website, winningponies.com, before we hear your analysis of the rest of the Preakness field.
Winning Ponies has been really effective, and we're the type of presence that we don't hide what we're doing. We post our results so you can go back and comb through, good or bad. Yeah. We want you to know, and we're one of the few sites we only charge for what is used. We're not going to put it out 72 hours in advance and just say, play this and go to the windows. Actually, there's so many different variables. They allow you to change the weather tab, which Mother Nature could play a factor this weekend. And there could be a late scratch. There's handicapping icons. Winning Ponies actually gives you the most fullest comprehensive advantage to actually assess the field. We have last race and composite ratings, which allow you to gauge not only the horses present, but how have they done the last three races. I think adding it all together, they've been extremely productive, and over the years, I think their numbers speak for themselves.
That sounds great, Ed. Well, here, we only got 7 other horses besides American Pharoah. I'll tell you my thoughts on them, and you tell me if you agree completely. First, we got Tale of Verve and Bodhisattva. Both of them just seem completely overmatched in this race. We can throw them out, right? Then you have Mr. Z and Danzig Moon, solid horses, excellent horses, but pretty clearly just a notch below the top 3. You know, they'll probably run right where we expect them to. Then there's Divining Rod, who didn't run in the Derby, but who might have been very competitive in the Derby. He's kind of the wild card. And then you have Dortmund and Firing Line, who are obviously excellent horses, maybe just a tick below American Pharoah. First of all, I'll ask you about Tale of Verve, Bodhisattva. Throw them out, right?
The Bodhisattva is actually in the top tier. Winning Ponies is not afraid of a price, not whatsoever. Okay. Actually, the win in the Federico Tessio has been nothing but a springboard for runners at Pimlico to target this race. I would look for nothing but pure speed from this runner, especially with the class and the tactical ability of Pharoah. But there is a runner in here that is drawing a lot of attention from players all around, and that's Divining Rod. Right. The Lexington Stakes was an incredible race, and it was run over a mile and 16th. And now at Keeneland, there are 2 finish lines. That is the shorter of the 2, but still impressively tactically laid off. They're going from Julien Leproux to Javier Castellano, who leads the nation as far as money and wins, which is a complete rarity into itself. But he actually has, I think he's moved up. He's moved up 2 shoe sizes, and this guy is going to get the acid test. Mm-hmm. You can bet your bottom dollar he will be laying right with American Pharoah.
On the morning line odds, you know, American Pharoah 4-5, Dortmund 7-2, Firing Line 4-1. Those all make perfect sense. Divining Rod is 12-1 on the morning line odds, and the question is that not giving him, you know, as much respect? I mean, they're putting him closer to Danzig Moon and Mr. Z than to the top 3.
I honestly think that he is that B-tier horse. He's the one that you would actually use for second and third. He actually fits into the second tier level of the Winning Pony selection. Pharoah and Firing Line and the Bodhisattva horse that exits at Tessio are the top 3 selections. Divining Rod is the first horse in the second tier. This is that runner that you're going to want to build your tries, your supers around, and hope for lightning, especially if you're playing the $1.5 million pick 4, which starts in the 10th race. I think that Divining Rod, if there's any meltdown whatsoever, I think that the rider alone moves Divining Rod up, the son of Tappet, way far up the ladder. I'm really impressed. The works are solid, but yet they're not sparkling. But the win in the Lexington at Keeneland, which was the first over dirt in years since they had the poly, I think Divining Rod has caught my attention as a B horse that I can really use with confidence.
All right, interesting. And then let me just quickly ask you about Firing Line and Dortmund. You know, obviously those horses are close to American Pharoah, but is there any reason to expect that they'll be able to make, you know, an improvement here and jump up to be actually equal to him? Or do you think that we've seen the best from these horses and that they just don't quite have what it takes to outrun him? They have what it takes to come within a length, or a half length, length and a half, 2 lengths, but not enough to actually overcome him in a big race like this.
I think Dortmund may have given out a little more gas out of the tank than necessary last time. Firing Line impressed me at the top of the lane. Now, twice beaten by Dortmund in the Robert B. Lewis, which has always been a springboard from Santa Anita onto the Triple Crown Trail. The Sunland Derby was impressive because he was actually for the first time allowed to breathe. He got away from Dortmund and he won by 14. In the Derby, it looked like Bob Baffert set him up like a boxer. He sent out Dortmund there. Firing Line got past him, but he couldn't get past that big right hook by the name of American Pharaoh. Actually, Firing Line is an intriguing runner. Simon Callahan all week long through all the media notes has been nothing but high on this runner. Gary Stevens is high. I would say Firing Line is going to give us everything that he's got, and if you look at his past performances, he's as tough as a nickel stake.
All right, well, correct me if I'm wrong, but my sense is that the runners-up in the Kentucky Derby tend not to do well in the Preakness. Is that not true?
That is true, and there's so many different variables this year. And if you go back to that, then you're going to go to the one hole that I believe it's 1961. There hasn't been a winner, which would eliminate American Pharaoh by all rational belief. I think each race must be taken unto itself, and I really toss out any of the, what you did in the last race.
Sure.
I'm still really impressed only because I think there's a lot of weakness in this field. I still see the same 2 and 3 coming above here. I really look for Dortmund to regress where I thought that Firing Line will pick up the pieces. That's what led me into Divining Rod, being that B and C leg of my trifecta and superfecta. But I would say Firing Line is going to give us all that he's got. But is it enough to beat Pharaoh at the end of the day? I don't believe so. I think Bob Baffert knows what he's got here for Zayat Stables. I think that this is going to be another impressive win, and this will be number 4. He quoted and said it, this is the easiest leg of the Triple Crown.
Great analysis, Ed. Now let's get to the third segment of our call, your picks and bet recommendations. Thanks so much, Ed.